Hi, I'm Andrew, and I care for my mother who's been living with dementia. On this channel, I share my caregiving journey, the lessons, the love, and the faith that carries me through. Let us encourage and support each other as we journey together.
Welcome to all my YouTube family and friends. Thank you for being here with me in another episode on my caregiving channel. And if this is your first time, a warm welcome. You know, caregiving has taught me something that life keeps repeating over and over again. Is that no matter how much we prepare, life can still interrupt our plans without any warning at all. Sometimes we go to lengths and organize everything so perfectly. We leave home on time. We double check every single detail. We prepare the medications, gather all the documents, the snacks, the schedules, everything. And somehow, despite all of that, unexpected moments still finds us. Has that happened to you? Well, recently I found myself reflecting deeply on how difficult travel can become when you are caring for someone who is elderly and someone who is living with memory challenges. Or honestly, it's about caring for anyone who is dependent on you emotionally during those uncertain situations that you can sometimes find yourself in. Because traveling as a caregiver is different. You're not only managing luggage and flights and timelines, you're also carrying emotional weight and responsibility with you. You're quietly trying to make another person feel safe while you're trying to manage your own thoughts, your fears, your emotions, all at the same time. And that can be so exhausting in many ways. And people do not always see it. We had what should have been a normal trip recently. Everything was going so smooth. We got to the airport early. The flights left on time and everything looked fine. But somewhere along the journey, unexpected changes happened. Suddenly, there were announcements. Changes in the direction of how we were traveling. 180-degree turn. Tension in the atmosphere. People becoming anxious. The energy in the room just shifted. And one thing I've learned about people living with memory issues or cognitive decline is this: they may not always remember details, but they absolutely feel emotions around them. They can sense when people are fearful, where there's confusion, where there's panic, where there's stress. Sometimes before we even say a word. And in moments like that, caregivers often become emotional shock absorbers. Here we're trying to process our own emotions while we dealing with simultaneously protecting someone else from becoming overwhelmed themselves. Now, let me be honest. That is not always an easy thing to do, because internally we are sometimes so nervous. We may be silently praying while trying to appear calm on the outside. Our minds may be racing while our voice is still trying to sound reassuring to our loved ones. We may be carrying anxiety while trying to create peace for someone else. And I think many caregivers understand exactly what that feels like. Because caregiving often means that we are managing emotions nobody else can see. But one of the biggest lessons that I learned from that experience is this. As caregivers, we often become the emotional thermostat in the room. The people we care for look up to us to determine whether they are safe. Not because we are fearless. No. Not because we always know what is happening, but because our response shapes their response. And that realization really is humbling. Because while I was trying to comfort my mother on this aircraft, something beautifully happened. Her faith was also helping to comfort me in that time. And honestly, that touched me deeply, because sometimes we think caregiving is only flowing in one direction. But there are moments when the very people that we are caring for strengthen our faith too. Mommy was praying. Her prayers steadied me. And sometimes their peace can calm us too. Their faith reminds us to breathe. And that moment reminded me that even when memory changes for the worse, the heart can still hold on to certain things. Yes, it holds on to faith, love, comfort, connection. Those things often remain rooted deeply within them. And that was emotional for me. Another lesson I learned is that preparation for caregiving, traveling, is not only physical, it is emotional, it is mental, and for many of us, it is spiritual. Yes, we remember the medications, and we remember the extra clothing and the important paperwork. But caregivers also need emotional preparation, because emergencies do not send warnings to us at any time. Unexpected situations happen so quickly as you blink your eyes. And when they do, vulnerable people often mirror the emotional environment around them. So when everybody's there stressing, yes, we consume that stress as well. So when the room feels chaotic, our loved ones may become stressed, or we too. If voices become frantic, we may also become fearful. But sometimes when we lower our tone, slow our breathing, hold their hands, and speak gentle to them. Play calming music, or maybe pray quietly. Maintain eye contact with them. It helps to regulate the atmosphere around them too. Not perfectly, not instantly either, but enough to help everyone breathe a little easier. And please hear me when I say this. Caregivers need care too. Because one of the hardest parts of caregiving is adapting in real time while pretending you are not overwhelmed. People often see us trying to function, and I say trying because sometimes it's difficult. They see us managing, they see us handling things, but they do not always see the emotional labor underneath everything. The constant awareness, the monitoring, oh my goodness, the adjusting, the constant reassuring, the emotional multitasking that we have to do. Caregiving requires a quiet strength that many people never fully understand unless they have lived it themselves. And maybe that is why I wanted to share this today, because someone watching this may be emotionally tired themselves. Someone may feel unseen. Someone may feel so overwhelmed from constantly having to be the calm one in the room. And I just want to remind you that what you do matters. Your patience matters. Your gentleness matters. Your calming words matters. Your presence, just showing up, it matters. Your prayers matters. Even on difficult days. Actually, especially on difficult days, it matters. And if you're traveling with an aging parent, a loved one with memory challenges, or someone who is just dependent on you emotionally, please give grace to yourself. Things may not always go according to plan. Unexpected moments could arise. But your calm presence may be the very thing helping your loved one to feel safe in the middle of uncertain situations. Thank you all so much for listening and watching, and for continuing to be a part of this caregiving community, of my caregiving journey. And please remember, do not forget to love upon your loved ones right now in a way that they can appreciate your love. Do it right now, no? Walk good. Goodbye.